Should I have my cash flow forecast done for daily, weekly, or monthly management? Oh, I'm so glad you're asking this. Oh, Minnesota, great. Lindsay, oh my gosh, Lindsay is also Lindsay Easterling is hailing from Easterling Family Law in Charlotte, North Carolina. Lindsay has an incredible heart for kids. She'll just show up when the kids of her clients need her. She's amazing. And she's also a fabulous entrepreneur, very business savvy. And I'm so glad you're on the line, Lindsay. Feel free to ask me some questions live. And so this question, should I have my cash flow forecast done for daily, weekly, or monthly management? Of course, the only answer I'm allowed to give you is the one that all accountants have to say first. It depends. Okay, now that little ritual is out of the way, you'll hear a common theme if you were tuning in earlier today in Ask a CFO. An earlier theme was, how are you going to use the information for an opening for action to make decision? So you look at the information, you have your aha moments, and anybody for extra credit going to weigh in as for the 3 types of aha moments that Jamie expects you to have when you view financial information? There's a 15-second delay, so I know the comments are going to start coming in 15 seconds from now, plus the time it takes to type. So I'll look for those answers. So yes, do cash flow forecasting to the extent that you need that information. If your situation is such that you really need to find out what's going to happen 3 months in the future on an ongoing basis, then have a monthly forecast and have the scope of your monthly forecast be 3 months on a rolling basis. If cash is really tight or you make big money decisions on a day-to-day basis, then do weekly or daily cash flow forecasting. So it depends on how tight your cash is. The tighter it is, the more frequently you need to do your cash flow forecasting. And by the way, talk to me about strategies to not have cash be so tight. And as soon as you can graduate from daily to weekly forecasting and from weekly to monthly, and let's go all the way here, from monthly to quarterly forecasting. And I wouldn't recommend ever cash flow forecasting to be any less frequent than quarterly. Even for a business that's doing just fine in cash, you've made your first $1 million, you're moving on to 2, and you've got your sights set on 5, you're making $5 million, you have your sights set on 7 or 10. Never do your cash flow forecasting any less frequently than quarterly. Always keep an eye on that. Look for patterns, trends, and be ready to seize the next opportunity. Because whatever the next opportunity is going to require some combination of time, talent, and treasure. And you know that treasure is not your beautiful looks. It's going to be what's in your company's bank account. Samantha, welcome. Has anybody on this call met Samantha yet? She is a part of my virtual assisting team. She helps me with appointments and sales. She's amazing. Wow, I'm honored that you dropped by. Thank you. And of course, feel free to ask me any questions you wish. We have about 3.5 minutes remaining. In fact, I'm going to partially answer a question that hasn't yet been asked. What technology is the best for cash flow forecasting? Thanks, Sam. So there's some technology available, but as Michelle was hinting at earlier, there are still problems that business owners and not-for-profit leaders are facing that are not yet solved by technology. I think this is appalling. And I've created some Excel templates, and I always stay on the lookout for technologies. What I can tell you is Float and Xero are a really good combination. Float, that's F-L-O-A-T, and Xero, X-E-R-O. Don't bother using Float with QuickBooks Online. It looks like it works until you realize that it doesn't in a very painful way. If you want to know more about that, you can ask me privately. But Float and Xero make a very good combination for cash flow forecasting. And if you're not using Xero, then, oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Lindsay. And I'm so glad you came by. I hope you'll come by next week as well. Cash flow forecasting largely still needs to be done in Excel, believe it or not. But if you rig up a template right, then it's super easy to update from your general ledger package, whatever that may be. The in-software quote-unquote forecasting tool inside QuickBooks Desktop is super lame. It just takes the due date for your payables and the due date for receivables, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's lame. This is what disdain looks like on the face of a CPA. Yeah, you saw it here first. And if anybody took screenshots, I want a copy. So anyhow, yeah. So you can run your cash flow forecast just in Excel. Just make sure that it's easily updated. Charles Horton, thank you so much for joining. Charles is a business consultant with a specialty in clients who are professional athletes. What a great strategic and financial mind. Thanks so much for joining. We were just talking about cash flow forecasting and how, unfortunately, by and large, there isn't great software available. Still needs to be done in Excel, but make sure your data is organized to give you either daily, weekly, monthly, or quarterly cash flow numbers. And make sure that it's easily updatable from your general ledger package, whatever it is that you're using.